Okay, in this video we're looking at negative fractional powers. So here you can see you've got an indice with a negative power and you've also got a fractional power. Okay, I'm going to look at how you would evaluate this in a second. Before we do that, let's go back to just negative fractional indices that we've looked at grade 5 previously. And just quickly recap this. Right, this is saying, first of all, how do you write 9 to the power of negative 1 as a fraction, first of all? Now remember from grade 5 that a negative power means you've got to take 1 over that number to the power given. So if you see a negative power, it's always 1 over your number. In this case, that is 9, okay? And if you do 1 over something, that is known as taking the reciprocal of a number, okay? Also, one little thing I've got to do, right, you put your number to the power that is given, so it would be 9 to the power, in this case, it would be 9 to the power of 1, which is just the same thing as 9, okay? So that is how you would rewrite 9 to the power of negative 1. Similarly down here, you've got 9 to the power of negative 2. Again, if you see a negative power, you go 1 over your number. And you put your number to the power that is given, which is to the power of 2. Okay, so it would be 1 over 9 squared, which means 1 over 9 times 9. That's what 9 squared means. And 9 times 9 gives you 81. So 1 over 81. So really important that we can recap this from grade 5. And the understanding of why we can do this, I've got a video on that at grade 5. But just so we know, right, this is what's going on. You do 1 over your number. Now, this here, you've got 9 to the power of negative 1 over 2. Let's look at it again straight away. If you see a negative power, that means first of all you do 1 over your number and you put it to the power that is given. Okay, as we can see up here, you give it to the power given. Now the power given here is to the power of 1 over 2, and we know from the previous video how to evaluate an indice with a fractional power. It means you're going to be doing, so 1 over fractional power means you're rooting your number, which is 9, and the root that you take is the denominator of that fraction, which is the square root of 9. Now the square root of 9, it could be plus or it could be minus 3, but we just take the positive numbers with GCSE at this stage, okay, with this topic. So 1 over 3 is simply your answer, okay, so that is your answer. It's just combining what you know with negative powers and with fractional powers, and we get 1 over 3 as the answer, okay. And just to show you on your calculator, you can always check if you can use a calculator in an exam. We can check our answer here because we are doing 9 to the power of negative, and then you want the fraction button, 1 over 2, and you should get an answer of 1 over 3. There we go. You can see it is correct, which is fantastic. Now the general rule for this, and don't let this put you off, it is this. It is saying if you've got a number, okay, so x in our case that is equal to 9, and you've got a negative fractional power, okay. Actually, it's said here that you've got m over n. In this first example, the numerator is 1, but we'll keep going with it. First of all, negative power means you go 1 over. That's really important. You root your number to the denominator of the fraction, which in this case, that is a 2. So you'd be doing the square root of 9, as you can see. And then you put it to the power of the numerator of that fraction, which for us, the power is just going to be 1, because you can see up here, you've got a 1. This is more for the next video. Okay, this kind of, for ours, right, the power at the moment, m, is actually just going to be equal to 1 in this video, which means that's just going to be 1, or you can just leave it. Okay, but let's look at some examples now. So we'll go through a couple of my turn, your turns, and I believe that's going to be it for this video. So the first one, again, right, first of all, you see a negative power. You think straight away, reciprocal, you go 1 over your number, and your power here is 1 over 2, so power of 1 over 2, okay? And we know that that's going to be 1 over. Now, fractional power means you're rooting your number, so you're rooting 4 to the denominator of that fraction, so you're taking the square root of 4. Now, it's going to be 1 over, the square root of 4 is equal to 2, so 1 over 2 is simply your answer for that one. And if you want to be really think about this in a more complex way, it could be minus 2 on the bottom, because the square root of 4 is negative 2 also, but again, we're just dealing with the positive answers for the time being. Okay, one below, we've got this question here. Again, you've got a negative power, which straight away means you do 1 over your number, so you take the reciprocal, your number is 125, okay, and you're raising it to the power that is given, which is 1 over 3. Now, that's going to be 1 over. Again, fractional power means you're rooting your number, which is 125, and the fraction, and the root you're taking is the third root. Now the third root of 125 is going to be equal to 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 gives you 125. So it's going to be 1 over 5 is going to be your answer for this one. And that is your answer. Okay, 2 questions that you can try, and then that's going to be it for this video. And we can begin with the first your turn, which I believe we've already considered, I think. Have we? I'm not sure. But let's go through it. So you can pause the video, and then you can fast forward to the end to check your answer. Now, here you can see a negative power again, which straight away means reciprocal 1 over your number, and the power that is given to you is 1 over 2. Okay, so it's going to be 1 over, and then the fractional power means you're rooting your number, which is 9, and you're taking the square root of it. The square root of 9 is going to be 1 over 3. And that is your answer for the first your turn. And last but not least, we've got 8 to the power of negative 1 over 3. Again, negative power means you do 1 over your number. You take the reciprocal, so 1 over 8. The power is 1 over 3. And then you go and do 1 over fractional power, means you're rooting your number, which is 8. The root that you take is the denominator of the fraction, so the cube root of 8. And the cube root of 8 is going to be 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 gives you an answer of 8. So it's going to be equal to 1 over 2. And that is your answer for this one. And I believe that is it for this video. Yes, it is. So thank you for watching. And in the next video, we'll be looking at fractional negative powers where your numerator, it is bigger than 1. Okay, thank you for watching.